Well, hi guys, and welcome to the MXTV bike launch. We're at the 2025 WR250F launch. It's a cracking day. How lucky am I? Now, I'm going to tell you what I think of the bike, but for all you nerds out there that want to know everything that's changed on their bike, and it's been a lot, I'm going to give you to the man that runs the Enduro team for Yamaha, knows all about this stuff. I don't know a thing about it. Let's hear it from AJ.
There's a lot going on with this bike. We've got updates to engine, we've got a lot of updates to chassis, suspension, seat position, foot peg position. The concept of the suspension is a shorter travel, which has made a really big difference, especially in the technical environment. We've got traction control settings now at the flick of the switch into its map 2. So Blue Map's a great map straight out of the box for a mild dose of traction control. The ergonomics have changed because of the way they've redesigned the angle of the subframe, which has made the back of the subframe lower than the predecessor. So it's easy to swing the leg over. The fuel tank's a little bit slimmer. Even the lacing of the wheels have changed. So we've got larger axles. The revised valving settings to go with all of this. It's really made it quite a unique step for the WR250 model for 2025.
So far we've spent about probably 2 to 3 hours on the bike, and my initial thoughts of it is it's fantastic. The thing that I had before, I've had a WR, I think it was about a 2019 model. Now, I got rid of that model for one reason only. It was sitting really high at the back and I was worried about that today. Come out here and the bike, somehow they've made the bike lower with more ground clearance. They're magicians. I don't know how they've done it, but it makes it so much easier getting off the bike. That's not the half of it. The most of it is when you're out there trail riding, when you tip the bike over, you've got that little bit more room to be able to get your leg down. For little people like me that have shorter legs, it makes it so much easier to ride the bike. Easier to hop through rocks when you're going through creek crossings. If you have to stall the bike and drop down, it's much easier than the previous model. All right, well, we've been out to do just a rundown on the bike. I've come back, changed a couple of gear lever positions, that's about all so far. So we've done a little, I did 3 or 4 laps of a little motocross track that got here, went through the creek just to get the levers in the position I needed, and then I'm right to go. So, tell ya, so far initial thoughts, just jumping on the bike, wow, it's got a bit of peak to it, that's for sure. Real good bottom end so far, but let's do a lot more laps and see what we end up at the end of the day. I got the new Thor vented gear on, so perfect for a day like today. It's quite sunny, quite hot, but get this Thor gear, nice and dirty. Get out there. The engine on this bike, phenomenal. I'm really enjoying the engine. It's got great bottom end, and I mean bottom end like they say. It's built on the WR250F, but it's not as aggressive, but it's aggressive enough for you to be able to really wind yourself out of corners, get yourself in a rut. You might be going a little bit too slow, you just wind on that throttle, it sits itself up, it sits really balanced through that. And the engine will give you enough grunt where you can just give it a bit of clutch and it'll get you over logs, any obstacle in front of you. So the thing I'm liking most about the engine is really the bottom end and how much grunt it has at the bottom. Suspension wise, well, it's KYB. No more to be said. Great suspension components. Now, I'm an advocate of, look, you can have very good suspension like KYB, but I still think if you really want that riding experience, go and get your suspension tuned for your riding and your weight, and then it'll make it a completely different bike. But the beauty of having KYB is you're starting off in a fantastic platform. The chassis on this bike, as we know, it comes from the YZ250 motocross bike, and it tells. It turns on a dime. You can get it up in the air and control it. Even when you're jumping the bike, it's very easy to be able to turn that bike in the air if you want it to do that. It just about does whatever you want it to do. You look in that direction and it'll go there. Now the stock tyres that come on this bike, I'm surprised at them. They work really well. We've gone through a little bit of moist ground, hard packed ground, some gravelly sort of skatey ground, and they've held on really well. We've got a grass track. It's not sliding on the grass track, so that's impressive. So the big news for the boys down in Melbourne and all over Australia, on those rainy days when you come across that red clay stuff, the bike's got traction control. Just a flip of the switch and away you go. This bike will get you up those hills and probably even help you coming down the hills, and certainly just keep you safe in an environment that can be very dangerous. Lastly, the look of the bike. I love all blue. I think it's fantastic. It's clean, it's neat. If you want to put a sticker kit, you can, but you're an Enduro bike. Why do you want to put a sticker kit on it for it? It looks fantastic. The seat, that's the other thing on this bike. The seat is fantastic. It's got a bit of a curve on it, really easy to move around. The cockpit's easy to move around. So far, 3 hours in, 2 thumbs up. I'm loving this bike over its predecessor. I think if you're looking for a 250 in the bush, get down to Yamaha dealer.